Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there, you gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross.
You gotta be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage, we are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020. We have a dope topic for you guys tonight. If you don't already know, it's called Dating While Conscious. I think it's one of the best topics so far we have, because it kind of will set the tone of why you see fellas like ourselves always on social media, on posts, trying to straighten up the narrative. Because when you're dealing with conscious men, those are the people that really set the tone for society, because a conscious man is more operating in a lawful and a structured management. And when you operate with a man that's outside of his consciousness, then you deal with the foolery and the dustiness and all the stuff that you complain about. So it's very important to understand the mindset of dating with a conscious man, and also the mindset of being a conscious woman yourself, to align with a conscious man in order for you guys to have the great stability of a structured household with your children, under the roof of two conscious parents will produce very successful conscious children in the process of it. So it's a very much needed discussion because it's the foundation of what our ancestors were built on, and we have gotten away from it. We also gotten away from that code of conduct because consciousness is a code of conduct, and we have gotten away from that. And why you see that we gotten away from that, society has really been crumbling down, and we've been regressing, losing a lot of great things and a lot of great sayings and a lot of great mindset over the years that our elders had built up, and we're losing a lot of that. We're regressing, and it needs to stop, and we need to get back on our rightful throne and our rightful mindset. So this topic right here is definitely going to bring us back to what we need to, is shed the light, probably on perhaps the side that a lot of people don't know. Because there are a lot of people that don't know about consciousness, and if you say something about consciousness, they think that you got to be like a Dr. Umar or Rizza Islam or Malcolm X, and that's not the case at times. That's just one part of consciousness, but there's also different variations of it. Those consciousness are more of a blatant, and then you have a different way of a subtle type consciousness as well. And we'll definitely break all that down as we go on. But I definitely want to give this topic the credits due to Major. Major came up with it. So I'm definitely going to hand over the mic to Major and let him go into details a little bit more about dating with consciousness and why this is so important for us to discuss this.
For sure. Real talk, man. Love y'all brothers. Appreciate you, man.
For sure.
Real talk, man. Like, when I look out here, I think that one of the biggest issues that we have is that there's an absence of consciousness in modern relationships. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest issues that we have, because consciousness has kind of become a punchline to a lot of people, you know, because we've had people out here that have misused consciousness, and they've kind of used consciousness as like a gimmick almost. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe that, just go to any spoken word poetry spot and see how many dudes in there are using consciousness and their ability to manipulate words and make them sound good to get women. You understand what I'm saying? Those same guys, though, are the ones who often beat their women, don't take care of their children, womanize, got 10, 11 women out here with 9 or 10 babies. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, that's not what consciousness is about. Now, I hate that people often abuse what consciousness is. I'll give you an example. I talked about guys out here having 9 and 10 babies from 9 or 10 different women, right? Part of that, when you listen to their remix of what consciousness is, oh, I shouldn't have to wear protection because that's against nature. I don't need to sign any paperwork because I don't need the government to tell me that I love you or how I feel about you or whatever the case may be. You get all that old bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? It's like these guys use consciousness as an excuse to not believe in marriage, as an excuse to, you know, spread their seed all willy-nilly all over the place like plantation bucks. Shout out Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Tristan Thompson. Not to take, you know, as an excuse to not have to take care of their women properly, right? They're beating on their women, whatever the case may be. They just got all type of chaos going on out here, and they use consciousness as an excuse for their fucked up behavior. Really is what it boils down to. The women, they use consciousness very much in the same way. You know, a lot of them, you know, you hear a lot of these people that talk about polyamorous relationships where they just want to go fuck everybody. You know what I'm saying? And they use the same thing. Well, you know, in the motherland, you know, we had a man could have, you know, as many wives as he could afford or whatever the case may be. And, you know, they use it as an excuse as well. I cannot tell you how many women I've met who use being conscious as an excuse to be a weed head. You understand what I'm saying? I cannot tell you, you know, So you're using consciousness as an excuse to hold around, as an excuse to be a weed head, as an excuse to not follow any rules or have any code of conduct. And that is the antithesis of what consciousness is. Consciousness is all about having rules, being disciplined, and having a code of conduct. You don't believe me? Look at the Nation of Islam and how they are run, how they are structured. Those are some of the conscious brothers I know. I know brothers in the Nation of Islam that are still virgins to this day, and these guys are over 30 years old. They're still virgins. They don't eat pork. If they eat meat at all, they pray several times a day. These guys are very structured, and you can tell just by watching them in a room for 15 minutes. They don't drink, they go to the club, they stand and they observe people. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that they talk to, I had a brother tell me, like, he found this one young lady that, I knew, but he didn't know. He found her very attractive. He said he wanted to talk to her, but she just didn't have enough clothes on. And her tattoos made her look like a streetwalker. You dig? Discipline. You understand? Like, okay, yeah, she looks good, but everything that look good for you ain't good for you. So long story short, as a community, we have to start taking consciousness more seriously. It should not be a punchline that you are conscious. And these people who are out here acting a fool, that is the abuse of consciousness. That is not true and actual consciousness. I want to put that out there. Consciousness, like you said, Anthony, is what we should be using to provide structure in our relationships. And as men in particular, we should be using consciousness and alignment with the Most High to guide us and give us and inform how we move in a general sense and how we conduct our family structure. You know what I'm saying? And we're not doing that. So that's what we got to get, man. That's what we got to get.
I agree. The alignment of, we talked about that before. And like I said, this goes into where a lot of women have a little rift about when we talk about what, just other people that talk about it. But I like to bring it here to this because we like to straighten the narrative. But when we talk about being the prize, and we broke that down about initially how the guy's the prize, and then when you marry that woman, she becomes the prize, and then both of your guys become the prize together in that marriage, and you become that dynamic power relationship. The prize is the consciousness. You know what I'm saying? As a man, he has to be consciously aligned with God. God talks to him. He then disperses the information of his alignment and his path and his journey to his wife and children under the provision and protection. That's why your man is such a prize in that initial greatness of that man that you really desire. That's the prize of a man that you choose to have in your life. With him being in that structure, that mindset to make sure he's there for you and his family, then he becomes to put this umbrella, put you under the umbrella of the prize, and now your children and his wife becomes the prize. I don't understand why this is such a major conflict about people picking and choosing who's the prize. At the end of the day, you guys, once you become aligned together under that marriage umbrella, you guys become the prize. Even if you're not even married and you don't believe in marriage or whatever, if you are aligned consciously together, you guys still become the prize together. So I don't want people to be out here having these issues with these topics and gender dividing us and splitting us apart farther than what we need to be, when at the end of the day, the goal is to align up with that perfect person that you feel is going to match you on that journey and go through that journey of life, as hard as it might be, the ups and downs. Somebody that could wear through the rain, the sleet, the snow, and say, you know what, if I had to do this again all over, I would definitely do it with you. That is the mind frame. That is the goal that we try to get to. So when we look at things like being conscious, it really helps not only the household, not only the children, not only your inner self, but it also helps society because it's infectious. Like Major was talking about with the Nation of Islam, because we have the Nation of Islam, do you know how infectious that is? Do you know how many consciousness that has risen over the years of the Nation of Islam? remember, Malcolm X was Little Red. Little Red was out there stealing, robbing, doing all type of fuckery before he got to jail. Once he got to jail and he lined up with the NIO brothers in jail, then he became conscious. And then when he left out of jail, he proceeded on with his consciousness, and he ended up being historical and iconic. Even to this day, even though his flesh is dead, his spirit still lives on through everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it is very important for you to be conscious, because it's something that is part of your legacy and your obligation to your ancestors and your family bloodline, for you to go out here and operate in the manners that your ancestors know you are able to do. And we're branching off on this, and the chaos is becoming more and more. That's why we have to realign back on, like I said before, to our original path and being infectious about it. Also, shout out to Anubis Gun Club. Those brothers over there are super, super dope. You know what I'm saying? Amon, you know, he runs that division in Texas. So when you hear him come on here, or you hear his wife come on here, you know, you're hearing the consciousness that has been passed down from legacy and generations. So it is our rightfulness to make sure that we continue that path, because guess what? Amon and Mila together have children and grandchildren that they are raising under that umbrella of consciousness. So imagine how impactful. If you think that the parents are impactful, how do you think that the children are going to be the more impactful than them? So that is what breeds back and strengthens our society, when we have that consciousness and making sure that we retain it and maintain it, and also put it back into our community, our system, back into our household. So I land my plane on that, and I pass it over to you, Bobby.
Yay.
No. Greetings, fam. Everybody that's watching and kicking it with us again. You brothers are absolutely right. And I want to touch a little bit more on what you were getting at earlier, Major, about how a lot of what we refer to as consciousness has become bastardized, to the point where, for many people, just the idea of going in that direction has become like a red flag. And if you think about it, it's sad, because the positivity that comes from that, just everything from even the way we interact with each other from a conscious perspective, it's supposed to be empowering and healing and nurturing. But what it shows is that there's a lot of damage that can come from people who have ulterior motives and who are allowed to pervert and misuse certain things. There's supposed to be some things that are sacred to us, right? That are off limit, that you don't touch, you don't mess with.
Right.
And unfortunately, if you're a person that's unscrupulous, you have no morals, no values, you'll say and do anything just to get ahead on somebody else. Unfortunately, you see those things, and it doesn't become too much of a task for you to go ahead and say, I'm going to flip that and use that to my advantage, so I can get ahead on somebody. We see the same thing play out with many different religions, where people have become turned off to dealing with religion, where it's Christianity or Islam or what have you, because they see people who are playing that game and manipulating it, because the people are using it as a means, of a vehicle to sell things or gain access to a certain demographic, whatever. They want no parts of it. And we have to do something about this, because when you chip away at these foundational elements, what do you have that's remaining? At the same time, because, you know, like with most things, there is a double element to this, or another element to this. We have to also be mindful, because consciousness calls us to be responsible and accountable to the community, to the collective, to the people. So you also have those people who don't want to be accountable, right? They want to always be first in line to take out the pot, take, receive, get, but they don't want to be responsible for putting anything in the pot. They don't want to be accountable to the people, to the group that gives them that sustenance or provides them with that assistance. They don't want to have an accountability to them, where they can weigh in and say, hey, you need to check yourself. What you're doing isn't in our best interest. They don't want that. So you'll have some people that will look for an excuse to poo-poo on consciousness simply because they want to be reckless and live their lives in all manner of dysfunctional patterns. They don't want anyone to say anything to them. Right? You also have the same thing in the church. You have, yes, there are some people who have legitimate issues and hurts that have come from dealing with the church, what have you. But you also have those people that don't want to be told that, hey, the way you're living is wrong. This is out of order. God is not pleased with this. They don't want to hear that. So any excuse they're going to look to climb onto that and say, oh, see, this is why I don't go to the church now. Somebody's grandmother, when I was 9 years old, told me that I didn't smell good. And here I am, 89 years old, and I've been holding on to that ever since. The church is fake. Bruh. Or, no, I don't want to hear about no consciousness because some nigga on the street told me Grand Rising Queen, and I heard later on he didn't really think I was a queen. So he told me that when I was 20 years old, and here I am, 48 years old. Now I don't want a nigga to ever tell me good Grand Rising Queen. We have to stop being silly, and we have to also deal with our own issues. So the reality is we're dealing with people.
Yeah.
There are no perfect people. And if there's no perfect people, that means there's no perfect system, no perfect organization. So realistically speaking, we have to do our due diligence and realize, okay, the concept might be on point. The practitioner is not. I'm not going to go ahead and throw the baby out with the bathwater and say consciousness is bad. Just because I've bumped into some representatives of it who are not of the ilk, especially when we have all kind of quality examples of those who were conscious, who have made such a huge difference and impact in our lives, and they credit that way of thinking and philosophy to being the people that they are. So rather than trying to find ways to skirt around this or to abuse it, let's find ways to live up to it the right, proper way and put people in check who violate and abuse and misuse it for their own ends or for their own selfish needs. That's the methodology that we need to take going forward.
Well said.
Yes.
I totally agree. Also, you guys have to realize when it comes to the consciousness that the center of the consciousness is also going to be to help you to avoid the low energy people, right? A lot of times we engage with people that have low energy and they mask themselves as sapiosexuals, which is another form of consciousness. So you have to be very careful about encountering these people and these type of people, whether it's men or women. And that's one of the important things that Major was talking about. And, his book is coming about vetting. It's very important on how to vet somebody, because you want to make sure that you're vetting the right way in order to avoid the imposters of consciousness. Just like he was talking about, you can find a lot of them in the poetry realm, even in the musical realm. We have like a sister like Erykah Badu. If you a dude who don't really understand the trueness of consciousness, you would think somebody like Erykah Badu is the cream of the crop. And this lady here is really masking her real true intentions behind consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at how she operates, you would say that's not how you operate as a conscious woman. And then she'll tell you, oh, well, I don't do what I do because I don't follow the norms of the people and the sheep. It's a lot of backhanded compliments that come from people that don't really are in their right form of consciousness. They backhand compliment you and say, yo, you stupid because you don't know that when you are like this, you are free-spirited, and that's the real consciousness. No, that's not the real consciousness, because consciousness has a boundary. That's the reason why your brain is inside your head. There's a boundary around your brain. You get what I'm saying? So you have to have a structure. You have to have something that is around you that contains your consciousness in a way where it's not out in every direction possible. So understand that form of it to make sure that you guys aren't interacting with guys that are playing like they're conscious, or that's where a lot of that love bombing comes in as well. So once you find out that a guy is not operating in his right space and you vet out correctly, you'll stay far away from that, the game plan and all that other stuff, and you'll be able to align with the man that you're supposed to align with. If you are a woman that's dating consciously with a purpose, all right? So I do want to show this video a little bit more that kind of explains everything. So let me add this up here, all right?
Really important for me to share the 7 most crucial differences between how conscious men date differently from average men, and the 3 essential steps you need to focus on if you want to be a match for and attract a conscious guy. After having literally thousands of conversations with women around the world, I can tell you that the #1 attribute women have shared with me, with words and with actions that they're looking for, is a conscious man. You know, a guy who's insightful, thoughtful, emotionally open, a guy who is respectable, a guy who is full of integrity, a guy who knows what he wants, a guy who is confident without being cocky, a guy who expresses needs and values without putting people down. It's a type of guy who really is present and helps you to step into the best version of yourself. There's 2 major problems that prevent you from connecting with this type of guy. First one is obvious. This type of guy doesn't grow on trees. It's not the majority of men out there right now. Unfortunately, I'm sad to say this, but that's the truth. So if you are going around and connecting with men who are emotionally immature, who are really stuck on a win-lose type of situation, very stuck on patriarchy, where they want things that are good for them selfishly, but they may not be good for you, and their way or the highway. Maybe these are guys who are not fully into commitment. They're looking to spread their seed around and not necessarily to just one woman. So if you encounter this, well, that's a lot of what's out there. It's not all that's out there, but let's be clear. A lot of guys show up this way. Second challenge, which is much more within your control of why this doesn't happen, not connecting or attracting conscious men, is because many women waste exorbitant amounts of time with men who are playful, charismatic, who are suave, who are ultra confident, even though they're hiding insecurity. And the emotional intensity of that connection prevents them from seeing the truth. There may be conscious men circumventing them, but they don't feel that it's emotionally exciting enough to connect with them at the beginning. They don't give them a chance. They waste time with this type of dude who is more of a player, and then rinse and repeat the cycle. My intention behind sharing with you the 7 major differences between how conscious men date and average men date is for you to be much more openly aware of how and who is the right fit for you. And the second thing I want to do today is I want to share with you the 3 specific actions and practices you can step into if you want to be a match for this type of guy. The first difference between how conscious men and average men date is conscious men have a clear, specific definition of what they're looking for. They know their end game. They have a very clear vision of the type of relationship they want, of the type of woman they're interested in creating a relationship with. They have a connection with their values, and they know the values they're seeking in someone. Why is this important? Because if you connect with men who are not keenly aware of what they're looking for, that's like the first step already failing to begin with. When you connect with this type of guy, he's going to not even wait sometimes for you to ask him what you're looking for in a relationship. He's going to ask you first sometimes. Hey, tell me what you're looking for in a relationship. Why? Because he doesn't want to waste your time or his. Number 2, conscious men's pursuit is direct and paced. What does this mean? 2 things. Direct means he's not playing around. He wants to see you and he lets you know it. He wants to plan dates in advance. He wants to secure a space in your calendar instead of calling you as a booty call 11:30 at night and saying, hey, SUP ? What are you doing? No, he's the guy who's going to be respectful of your time, who wants to see you. He may not know that you'll be the wife, basically, but he wants to really move things forward to figure out if that's possible. So he's going to pace himself in dating. That also means he's not going to ask you to date him 15 times on the first week. He's not going to have 7, 8, 9, 10-hour dates where he expresses himself profusely, even though you don't really know each other. He's going to pace himself, but he's going to be very clear that he wants to get a chance to connect with you to find out if you and him can be an item, and ideally an item that can stand the test of time. Number 3, in the process of pursuing you, he's going to ask you insightful, thoughtful, emotionally provoking questions in the best of ways that allow him to get to the truth of who you are. because he's hungry to get to know you, because he doesn't have time to waste, because he has high standards, he's not only going to ask you fun, playful questions that make dates fun without the depth or sustenance of more. Just like I ask you and invite you to ask guys powerful questions, this type of guy is going to ask you the types of questions. He's going to be open to receiving the questions you ask him and answering them in a way that's thoughtful. He's going to want to go the distance emotionally, which leads me to my next point. The fourth difference in conscious men and average men is, for conscious men, emotional intimacy is a must. It's a non-negotiable. So good news and bad news. The good news is he's the kind of guy who wants to go deeper, who wants to be more vulnerable with time, who wants to hold space for you to be vulnerable. The bad news is if you're used to not doing that, pacing yourself through expressing vulnerability, if you're used to being highly ultra independent in such a way that it's hard for you to express emotions because you feel like they may be intruding in your personal space, then he's not really going to be excited about that. He might ask you once or twice to go the distance, but if he notices that you're not the type of woman who wants to be vulnerable and expressive, he might just turn his vistas to a different human being. Now, before I share my last 3 points, which are really important for you to be aware of, if you're a single woman watching this, I'd be willing to bet you're not fully aware, or perhaps not even aware at all, of the true root cause why you're still single. You might be aware of the symptoms, but the root cause is really the thing that can help you change things. So if you want to understand the number one reason you're still single, I've created a quiz after working with women for 13 years and put together a very simple process. If you're interested in finding out the answer to the elusive question why you're still single, you can go to the first link in the description. You will see a page that looks like this, answer a few simple questions, and in 60 seconds, you'll have the answer to 2 things: why you're still single, and a custom report that will share with you, based on your specific blind spot, what is the number one thing you can do if you want to attract the guy you want in a fraction of the time. The fifth difference between conscious men and average men is their ability to pace through physical connection. That doesn't mean they don't have needs or even urges to create physical connection, but they will want emotional connection first, and they are more than willing to be patient with you as you understand their compatibility with you before they start pushing for physical connection. If they push for physical connection and you say no, instead of getting upset, instead of leaving the room, metaphorically speaking, they'll want to understand the type of safety you need for them to be able to create that connection. Also, because this type of man values emotional connection, you will be higher up in his book, not as a gimmick, but if your honest self says, I need more emotional connection and compatibility before we can physically connect, kiss, make out, and of course have sex, then you'll be higher up in his book. If he's not a conscious man, that will drop you in his book. That's a clear litmus test. If you set a boundary that sets you up for safety, men who are conscious understand that the vast risk in a dating situation right now, especially at the beginning, is on the side of women. You have a higher risk emotionally, physically, even sexually. So if he understands that and he's willing to wait, that gives you a cue that he's emotionally aware and you should date him. If he's a guy who gets really upset because he's kind of wanting a 50-50 type of risk when the risk is higher on you, then he's not the guy for you. The sixth difference between conscious men and men who are average is their ability to express needs kindly yet firmly. What does that mean? They can set boundaries. That means they can share what they would prefer and what they would like. They're not second guessing themselves. They're not being forceful. They're not saying you must do this or else, but they're also saying, hey, here's something that works better for me. Here's something that I prefer. Here's something that makes me feel more appreciated. Here's something that makes me feel more accepted. Would you mind fill in the blank? Seventh difference between conscious men and guys who are weighers or guys who are average is their ability to respectfully and kindly walk away. When a man encounters someone who is kind of connected to drama, who is not willing to do her share, who is wanting to simply have the guy do everything for her without her doing anything or expressing anything, almost like you don't deserve me, that type of experience, guys will walk away from them. Even if you're smart, if you're beautiful, if you're high value, but if you're acting that way, guys who are conscious will not stand for that stuff. Now, what do we do from here? I'm going to share with you 3 simple things you can practice starting immediately that will up your chances exponentially to attract and be a match for conscious men. Number 1 is only date men who clearly know what they want. There's going to be a high degree of excitement on men who are physically attractive, who are doing great things in life, and who are showing up in a way where you feel emotionally validated. If those guys are ambiguous or unclear or not sure of what they want, do yourself a favor, and regardless of how awesome you think he is, multiply them times 0, and that's their value in your life, and move on. Number 2 is go up in your needs, meaning you're going to connect with guys sometimes that feel exciting but not really good for you. Going up in your needs mean make sure that you open up the space for less emotional intensity at the beginning so that you connect with a guy and you can find out who he really is. If you connect with a guy and there's explosions of the heart and you feel like he's really someone that you've met in 3 past lives, maybe not the best guy for you. I'm not saying that for sure it isn't, but you need to make sure to validate, vet through time, and not get caught up into something that is emotionally impulsive or addictive, but allows you the space to view him. Give him more time. You don't have to have explosions of the heart from the first moment to find that a guy is an incredible guy. You date him a few times, you don't feel anything, then stop dating him. But you might find yourself feeling more attracted as the emotional connection sets in. And the third recommendation I have is be more direct. Stop playing games consciously or unconsciously. If you want something, ask for it. If you're upset, let him know in a kind way. Don't have this mindset where if he is the guy of your dreams, he should already know, he should read your mind. Guys are not mind readers. And guys who are mind readers perhaps are not the best type of guy to connect with you because they may get something wrong but still think they're right. So my suggestion for you would be direct, be clear, express your voice more frequently.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so that's basically
He was
wanted to
cooking.
show you that video.
Good game, good game.
You guys can add on that and
Wow.
give some pointers.
Outstanding video. Stellar game. I'll say this. I mean, there's not really a lot to add. I would just like to, I guess, piggyback on a few of those points that stood out the most to me, because he pretty much said it all. You know what I mean? The brother was on point with it. I think that when he talked about men who are conscious being intentional, I think that was huge. Too many of us out here, especially those of us that are in our late 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s, you still got people out here dating just to do it. What are you doing? Like, really, bruh? You ain't getting no younger. You done seen a few mango seasons already. You're getting a little long in the tooth. You need to tighten it up. They have a saying, the old timers have a saying, you can shit or get off the pot. You dig? And that's really what a lot of these people in relationships now need to get through their thick ass head. If you're not dating with intention, you're not really doing anything but wasting your time and some other person's. I found my wife when I stopped using women as placeholders. Straight up. One weekend, I got in my phone book and I dumped every female in there. You dig? I called them up and told them, hey, it's been real, but you just do you. I'm gonna just go out here and I'm gonna try something else. We don't need to talk no more. You know what I'm saying? I put their ass in the corner. You dig? And when I got rid of all of them, that's when I found my wife. You need to understand that. I think the one thing that I would add to that is that specifically for men, we need to make ourselves available to receive the blessing. A lot of us can't find Mrs. Right because we got all these hoes around. And we keep a stable of hoes because, quite frankly, we want something to poke on, in the words of Dr. Dre. You dig? That ain't a sound strategy once you get to a certain level in life and you've leveled up and you're serious and you want to start moving towards starting a family and building a life with someone. You have to divorce yourself of those type of thought processes. Asking thoughtful, intense questions. It's like he's channeling me in this video because that I'm writing a book on, it's called The Relationship Book of Questions. And it is specifically about that. Stop talking about shit that you see on Shade Room and reality TV shows with the nigga that you with and who the new stripper is at the office and thinking that that's conversation. Bruh, you ain't talking about shit. And then when shit comes up, because shit will come up, you're not prepared. You're ill prepared because you haven't had any real life conversations with this person where you're discussing scenarios and how this person reacts to certain things, how they feel about certain things, how they vote, what their religion is. You need to know these things in great detail because you intend on building a life with this person. You're moving together. If you're not compatible, you can't move together because you're always going to be like this. You know what I'm saying? So those were the two things that really, really, really stuck out to me. And thirdly, he had a couple of these, but the ability to express needs kindly yet firmly, that jumped out of the video. Because a lot of guys, man, they want to do this throwback 1946 shit, you know, where they get your ass in the kitchen, you know, do it. No, I'm a man. Shit. And what the fuck I said, go. And bruh, leave the Huggy Bear shit and leave the Huggy Bear shit in the 70s, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Not Huggy Bear, bro.
Leave the black exploitation language in the 70s. We're evolved, grown-ass men right now, bruh. And it's a certain way that you talk to your lady, you know, and just women generally. Whereas, you know, I've seen women say and do things with other guys they would never even think to try with me. Just simply because of the way that I speak and the way that I conduct myself. You know what I'm saying? You don't try me. And everybody knows that. And it's not because I'm particularly abrasive. You know what I'm saying? I'm firm. I'm polite, yet firm. And as a group, as a gender, brothers got to learn to understand that, because being firm will cut out a lot of bullshit. People know at the door not to try it. But at the same time, you're respectful and kind. It's powerful. That's what you call real power. And I'll land my plane.
Yeah, well said. Drake.
Man, you just three-pieced the points that I was gonna make, man. I'm just gonna kind of give like a light glossing over it and really just drill down, I think, on the overall theme, because he said a lot of things, most of them you pointed out, but really the overarching theme of what he was talking about was being intentional. Being intentional.
Yes.
You know, and it's funny because one of the big issues that's going around now in all these dating relationship conversations that keep getting brought up is men talking about how they want a submissive woman. Women aren't submissive. They don't do this, that, and the third. And even though there is a lot of pushback from women at the concept of this, even in the right setting and situations, let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
But fair is fair. Let's be honest, because we're not looking to take sides with men or women on this. We're talking about what is in the best bet of the collective, because that's what consciousness is about. It's about what is in the benefit of the people and mass. So you're talking about you're looking for a woman who is submissive. She's cooperative. She goes with your plan. She's following your lead with your agenda. But here's the thing. In order to go with somebody's lead, there has to be a lead. You know, it's one of those things that sounds obviously does a no-brainer. It's counterintuitive, but yet still, it's a lot of people slamming their pinky toe in the corner of the bedpost, so to speak, on this, and it's like, damn, no one's picked it up. You've seen the last 18 people walk by, wham, turn right to the side of the bed, and they're just still lined up for their turn to go ahead and take their pinky to Pound Town, and not the ideal way. It's crazy. You cannot have someone following your lead if you're not going anywhere. What is your plan? What is the goal? What is the vision? And that's talked about everywhere. That's even in the scriptures talks about that. Without a vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
You have to be going with somebody, because if you don't have a vision, if you're not going anywhere, if there's no goal, all you're going to do is go around in circles. My grandmother said, "What said? You're just piddling away, just piddling time away." And unfortunately, when you're wasting time like that, the old adage is true: idle hands are the devil's workshop. You're going to get into trouble, problems, and situations because you're not focused. You don't have a purpose. Well, unfortunately, you're going to fall into the midst of people who already have purposes for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who get caught up and they doing time where they dead because they had no purpose. They were aimless in life. And unfortunately, they became victim to those people who did have a plan, who did have a vision. And unfortunately, it wasn't anything good for them. A smart, intelligent woman, a woman worth having, is not going to follow a man who is not leading, who does not have a direction. Because she's gonna line up with her knapsack on, with her hat, with hiking boots. Okay, boss, I'm here. I'm ready to fall. I'm ready to submit. Where we going? And as soon as she sees where you see him, I'm gonna pull up the Raymond Manatee map, and I think this is the right way. If you go up 2 fingers here, right, make a right turn, we just gonna be there. We just gonna be in Albuquerque. As soon as she sees this ninja is sitting on his thumb and he's enjoying it too much, she's out.
Mm-hmm.
If she's worth it, because she understands that the most valuable attribute I can bring is my submission. It's the most valuable attribute I can bring is my following along, is my supporting the plan. I'm not coming along to support no bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to support nonsense. I am not going to put my seal of approval, my stamp of approval on hogwash.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're unintentional, when you have no plan, when you have no vision, when you're just looking to just chill, and if she's committing to that, that's just what she's doing. She's endorsing nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make sure that we're leading with intentionality. And this isn't a knock on the brothers, because if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a purpose, the good news is it's never too late to develop one. Sit on your ass, get you some quiet, turn the TV off, turn the music off, get your family, your friends away, go chill. You can go out in nature and do it. You can be at your crib or whatever, but go someplace quiet where you can think for 5 damn seconds without interference. Get out a pad and paper, go old school with it, and really sit down and no BS, really think, bruh, what do I want for my life? What do I want the future to look like? What do I want next year to look like? What do I want the next 5 years to look like? What do I want a decade from now to look like? All right, cool, bet. Now, once you have point A, you already point A. Once you get point Z, now you can begin fleshing it out on the way and figure out where the other dots are. And then you can start drawing and connecting them to get to where you need to be. Now you got a vision, then you can put together a plan, and then you can begin to work the plan. And when the women see that, oh, okay, so he's got something going, he's got some motion, literally.
Mm-hmm.
He has an agenda. He has a goal and destination. He's trying to get there. I want to be a part of that. I need me a man with some motion. Okay, let me go ahead and hitch my wagon to that. So being intentional is the key start to that. And if you are a brother who is subscribed to being conscious, then you really can't be conscious if you don't have intentionality, because the whole purpose of consciousness, again, is to move forward. It's to move the people forward. It's a goal for the people overall, but it'd be pretty weird if you have a goal for people to move forward, but you don't have one for yourself. It's almost counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Tribe matches tribe. So that should be what you're on. And if that's not where you are, again, I would advise you to sit back and do some reevaluation. Go ahead and get yourself on track, and you can begin leading that way all throughout your life. Because again, as we said before, how you do one thing is how you do all things.
Mm-hmm. All right, well said. Man, you guys have hit that on the head. I think that when you follow that kind of structure and understanding, then you'll end up getting to the place or the goal that you have intended for yourself, and the one you have intended for your mate as well. But yes, being on the same page and also having that that mind of dating with a purpose, dating consciously with a purpose, will definitely lead you to where you need to be at the end of the day. So I definitely respect what you guys brought to the table, and hopefully that's great information for people out there. I definitely want to play this video of our great queen. She really talks about why we are, why we need each other. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to bring this point home, so we don't be out here keep gender warring or at each other's necks or throats, and realize that we need each other. Line up. There's somebody out there for you. Line up with that person. Let's get it done. Because when you're hurt or you don't reach your goals, sometimes people take it emotionally personal. And then you have a disdain for some people, especially the opposite sex. Men and women do it, because you're not attracting or lining up correctly. And sometimes it might take you to look in that mirror to really fix some things so that way people can see you exactly how you want to be seen. All right. So definitely want to play this video real quick.
We've all seen a joke about podcast equipment being dropped off in the black community the same way crack was in the 80s, right? Now, I know it's a joke, but hear me out. Why does it seem like society is hell-bent on keeping men and women separated from each other and at each other's necks? Because we all know that these relationship hypotheticals and stupid podcast questions are deteriorating and detrimental and dysfunctional to our society, right? But for some strange reason, we can't stop engaging. We can say that this content doesn't have an effect in the real world, but if that was the case, then why do these advertising companies spend millions of dollars to show us their product for 15 seconds? Doesn't matter how strong-minded you are influenced by what you see and what you hear. There are so many people that have been hurt, tried, and tested, and they say they'd rather do this alone because it's too hard to try to get it right with the opposite sex. I want to be clear that doing it alone is not working. In the United States, men unaliving themselves is at an all-time high, and it's increasing the older men get, so it's detrimental for men. And women, we're seeing a rise in alcoholism, which is incredibly detrimental to our health because we have more body fat than men do. If that wasn't enough, the children are suffering the consequences of not having the resources for what they need in life. Having single people in multiple different households instead of a family under one roof is a lot more lucrative and profitable for the powers that be. Children do better in school and are far less likely to go to prison when the father's in the household. There's a balance between the masculine and the feminine energy. Statistically speaking, we need each other. Like, not just saying that because it sounds nice, but it is the truth. We need each other. All I'm saying is be mindful of what you hear and see, and don't let it affect how you view things. Because there's still a lot of people in this world.
All right. So definitely great message from our queen sister. Love the message that she's given and has been giving us for a long time. So yeah, I'll turn it over to you guys. How you feel about that? Is this something that you guys say all the time, right? About the consciousness and why we need each other.
Yes, and
the
I'm just
programming.
right. Look, I'm just gonna say it, man. Erica Lachey is a national treasure, bro. Yo, that sister is so sharp, and she represents black women so well. It just don't make no sense, fam. I would like to get Erica Lachey on the show. I'm gonna holler at her and see if we can arrange that, because she have a way of speaking where she just put it where the goats can get it. Like the old timers used to say, like she just make it so plain that, a 3-year-old could understand that. You understand? And she's feminine, yet firm. You know what I'm saying? She's serious, yet non-combative, and
not abrasive.
Sharp, not abrasive. She leads with her mind. This sister is on point. You understand? And to you knucklehead ass dudes out there that's not wifing her up, because she was calling some of y'all out. Like y'all was shooting your shot and you was in her inbox and you shot the shot and it went in. And you was looking at her like you was waiting for her to ask you what to do. What are you doing? Yo, sisters like that out here complaining about brothers, not, putting game in motion and getting things cracking. That don't make no sense. But broadly speaking,
you just talked about that though. If they see you ain't got a plan, they not playing with you.
I'm just saying.
Case in point.
Which is absolutely how that's supposed to be handled. You know what I'm saying? But that sister is always cooking. I wish she would post more. I know that she had said something one time and she started getting death threats and all kind of crazy stuff, and she disappeared for a while. But that just goes to show you some of the low energy people online, which, you know, is reflective of what she's speaking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People not understanding, you know, that we need each other. Even other sisters need to hear voices like hers. Why are you attacking her? You understand what I'm saying? There's no reason to attack a sister like that. They should be listening to her. They should be learning from her. But she spoke so real, man. Like, I hate to hear people say, you know, women in particular are the only ones really running around saying this. I don't need no man. It is antithetical to your very existence for you to be running around as a female talking about how you don't need a man.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know, if we didn't need each other, we wouldn't all be here. And I love that she mentioned the specific stupid ass questions that these people ask. I absolutely hate when people go on these podcasts and they ask these hypotheticals that just don't make no damn sense. And then they put at the end of it, thoughts. You know it's wrong. I understand you want to get hits and you want people to respond, but sometimes you have to have a little bravery and take a stance. And you got to call the shit out. Don't ask what people's thoughts are or if it's right or wrong. Nigga, say where you stand. And let whoever's going to comment and whoever's triggered, they still going to comment. You understand what I'm saying? But I hate that shit too. And she's spot on when she says it. And, you know, we do too much senseless bickering back and forth, which is why I'm glad we had the Manversations 2020 platform, because on here, on this platform, we discuss pertinent things. We discuss pertinent issues. You know, today we're discussing dating while conscious. You know why? Because there are so many people in the community who make fun of conscious people, number one, and two, think that the worst thing you could possibly do is date somebody conscious. That is the most bass-ackwards way of thinking I can contemplate. You understand? We're supposed to be leading with our consciousness and standing in it. So sister did a brilliant job of laying that out there and talking about the need of black men for black women and vice versa.
Yeah.
Energy is important. And the type of energy that a man brings to the table and the type of energy that a woman brings to the table are totally different, yet very necessary. They balance each other out. You understand what I'm saying? You need a disciplinarian. You also need someone who's going to nourish and reinforce your positives. You know what I'm saying? These things are all very important. And when you don't have that in the home, then the children that come out of those homes are severely lacking, and it shows. We are losing because we don't think we need each other. I'll park the Buick. Yeah.
I did want to show two videos real quick. Being that you're married, Major, and that's the journey that I'm heading on myself. I know right now I have the same mindset as this gentleman that I'm about to play.
Okay.
And my mindset is my homeboy that was married, he used to always ask me to come out with him. And my conscious decision was, I told him, I said, I can't hang with you like that. Like some places, if we go to watch the game, that's fine. But if it's like activities where y'all married couples and I'm the only single one in there, it doesn't mentally, in my mind, it's going to be awkward. Right. Because even when I'm in the vicinity of you're there with your wife, your homeboy there with his wife, his homeboy there with his wife, and here I am, the single guy. And I'm running around chasing women, and that image looks bad on y'all because they're like, okay, your wives are looking like them. You're affiliated with a dude that's going out there running around trying to holler at women. So subconsciously they thinking, okay, when y'all go out, do all y'all niggas holler? Because y'all niggas not gonna just sit there and leave him alone to go holler at all these women. Are you entertaining women for the night for your homeboy? So as a conscious decision, I never wanted to put my friends in that position, and I didn't want them to have me in an awkward position as well. So I'm gonna play this video because this gentleman speaks on it, and then I'm gonna play another video that shows you why it's important to be a conscious couple as well.
Ain't around too many single dudes.
I don't want to, bro.
It's like,
I feel uncomfortable almost.
Yeah, that, but also it's like we have different tendencies and habits, and you got different things that you do on a Saturday night. On a Saturday night, you may be going out to a club or something like that. On a Saturday night, I'm trying to plan a date. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm trying to chill in the crib, watch Netflix with Shorty. You probably trying to bring a Shorty over to watch Netflix with, to probably, you know, do whatever. I don't want like, that's two different energies. I don't want to be in a situation where I have to consistently tell a Shorty no. Not because I can't do it, but because I don't want to even have to do that. I tell my girl all the time, I don't want to put myself in situations where there's even a potential for something to happen. So I try to minimize that as much as possible, right? And I feel like one of the best ways to...
All right, and I want to play this to show why it's important for to be conscious couple. Because once you're a conscious couple, not only your children are conscious and they're growing from that, but also it's infectious to the people around you. And check this story out, because I never knew about this story till recently.
Out here with not a lot of money. I was substitute teaching and coaching at Campbell Hall. And there were two kids that really took to me and I took to them as well. One was John David Washington. And I did not put it together that, you know, he was related to them. And one day Pauletta picked him up and she kind of picked me up too. And I was no longer as homeless as I prior was when I was teaching and coaching there. It gave me shelter when I didn't have a place to stay. I absolutely was allowed to sort of figure my 20s on into my 30s out in that home. I sort of transitioned into getting an agent, doing all these odd jobs, pursuing firefighting as a backup, and Spike Lee offered me my first gig.
Wow.
We shot it in San Francisco, and then I went broke after that. Because the show was gonna be a series on Showtime, and it didn't work out. And then kind of just found myself showering at the YMCA. Moms and pops were still supportive, like, you ain't coming back home. I thought about that at one point. Pops and moms rounded up about $2,500. Pauletta, she paid for my car to not be...
She paid for his car not to be repossessed, right? And you know, I didn't know about that situation, that story, but it just goes to show you how, you know, they were the village. They were the conscious village outside of his family. So he had four guardians, right? He had his biological parents, and then he had Denzel Washington and his wife. And they took him in just like they would take their own, or take care of their own child. And it was so crazy because he was the teacher of their children. So it's that village mentality of being conscious. You see how powerful it is, because now you see where Amari Hardwick ended up being and how powerful he's been on film, right? Imagine if he didn't have the extra conscious parents of Denzel Washington and Pauletta. He said he probably would have been a firefighter or homeless, or probably would have gave up on life, which leads to men being 3 times more likely to commit suicide. These are how men get stuck in hard positions, because they want to go out there and provide. They want to be that leader, but sometimes circumstances can overcome their self-conscious to a point where it leads to depression, because everything isn't processing the way you think it's supposed to process, or in the timely manner that you wanted to process. So it's very important to be consciousness, because even consciousness saving other people day in, day out. Even when you look at, what's her name? Esther Rolle, right? Florida Evans, right? Even when you talk about the show, and we found out the history of that, where the creators wanted her to be a single mom in the 70s on the show. She was like, nah, you better add a father in there. And that's how we got James Evans in that show, because her consciousness wouldn't allow that show to go on and project that type of imagery, which goes back to Erica Lachey saying how important imagery is. So knowing that, as Florida Evans, she made sure that there was a father inside the home, and damn sure they couldn't have had a better damn father in the 70s than damn James Evans.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And the impact that he did on TV automatically had raised the consciousness of the younger children in households that were in single households that were able to rely on the imagery of James Evans to be that father that a lot of them didn't have, because he was instilling a lot of facts that they seen in JJ and his younger brother, and also in his sister. If she's a young girl watching that, she also is learning from a fatherly figure as well. And that was so impactful that it ended up putting fathers in the houses that there weren't no fathers in, and giving them life lessons without them having directly to be learning it hands-on, when they could be watching the different episodes and learning it there and taking that information outside and protecting themselves outside in the household. That is power in consciousness, and why it is so important to walk around here with consciousness, because it ends up being so powerful for the community in one way or another. Also, I learned that the Wayans brothers also did that too. When the Wayans brothers was doing the Wayans brothers show, they told them, NBC said, hey, we'll take the show on, but you got to get Pops out of there because he's too ghetto. And he was like, no, listen, we're going to keep Pops here. And Pops, if you're not accepting us with Pops, who is John Witherspoon at that time, if you're not accepting Pops on this show, we don't want it. They said, okay, NBC just said we don't want to do business. Then they went to WB. WB, that was a show that was coming up, and they needed shows on there. So they said they pitched and piloted, and WB didn't have a problem with it. That show ended up being one of the most watched shows today, the Wayans brothers. And even in that show, as comical it was, they still had a lot of facts. They had a lot of scenarios and messages that really impacted the community. Because one thing I could tell you, so the reason why that show was there was a lot more impact in that show is because sometimes comedy opens the ears and the eyes for it to receive the message more. So you're receiving the comedy, but subconsciously you're receiving the message. And that's what made that show so impactful. And John Witherspoon, one of the great actors that I respect to this day, was a very, very impactful father for us. Even when you look at the consciousness that he did in Friday, even as low budget as Friday was, one of the most iconic lines in that movie was, "You don't need no gun, Craig." And he pushed his hand down and took the gun out of his hand and said, "This is all you need. You might win some, you might lose some, but you wake up, you live to see another day." Exactly. Integrity. So, you got to understand how powerful being conscious is, man. It's what we need. It is the cornerstone of Black society.
Yes, it is.
And we need to restore that back. And I'll definitely land my plane on that.
Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, man. So much, man. So much. It goes back to the value system, right? They always say that if you want to try and break down or get to the root of any crime that's been committed, follow the money. Right, classic statement. If you want to find out who commits the crime, follow the money, follow the paper trail. And what you see in both those cases with the Wayans brothers and also with the Good Times, and it's funny that those two shows are separated by about a good 3 decades or so. But you still see that the same agenda is in play across the board. We don't want the father figure. We don't want the father present. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if this is a young family, with young children living in the heart of the ghetto, in the projects. And it doesn't matter if it's 2 grown men out there with their father running a diner and doing everything else. We don't want the father present. We don't like that idea.
Yeah.
And it's important because we are a visual people. Human beings are visual period. The reason, I've said this before, the reason why marriage is so important, so critical for the building of stable, functional, healthy nuclear families is because marriage, not just marriage, but relating to the opposite sex in a romantic, long-term partnering way. We're talking about coming together, fusing our finances, fusing our romance, fusing our upbringing of the children, rearing them up together, inputting our values and our expectations into our children, being functional members of the community. All of this, that's not something that you can go to school for. We literally have, I wouldn't even say a privilege, we have an 18-year plus, really, but at least bare minimum, an 18-year internship at the School of Love and Life, where boys get to learn manhood and masculinity from their father, where they get to learn what to expect of their significant other from their mother, and vice versa for the girls. They get to learn womanhood and femininity from their mother, and get to learn how is a man supposed to treat me, deal with me, interact with me. What is a loving situation supposed to look like? That is very difficult to replicate outside of that. Can you raise a good person? Can you raise a son to be a good man in a single parent household? Sure you can. Can you raise a girl to be a good woman in a single parent household? Sure you can. But when it comes to life and relationships, there's going to be a lot of holes and gaps in that process if you don't have the internship there.
Facts.
And even if you did everything right, you didn't keep men in and out your home, you didn't have women in and out your bed or what have you, you didn't keep that around your child might know all of the wrong things to avoid, and that's good, but the problem is they don't know the right things. And it's not enough. It's not enough to simply know what not to do. That's a help. Yeah, that's important. But I also need to know what to do. Because that's the way we are. We learn by doing. We learn best by doing. We can read, we can see things on the board, but for the most part, everyone learns best by doing. When you confuse it all together, it's wonderful, but we learn the most by doing. So if all I've seen is what not to do, but I don't know what to do, the problem is we don't rise to the occasion. We fall to the lowest level of our training. So I don't know how to do the right thing, but damn, I'm pretty good at how to do the wrong thing. How many times do we see young brothers talk about, they didn't have a father or they were abused by the father? They say, I'll never be like that man. But so many of them creep back in those same patterns. Why? Because I don't know how to do this, but I know how to do this.
Yeah.
So we have to have that. I had a brother who I chatted with briefly. It wasn't even really a conversation, just a couple of comments we passed back and forth. And he said something on a friend of mine's post. The post was talking about how, dealing with difficult women should be a no-go. If a woman's interested in you, she's not going to make the process ridiculous. She's going to pretty much go with your, be on your timing. She's going to be on your agenda. She's not going to go ahead and put up all kind of roadblocks and do the whole apply pressure nonsense, what have you. And he said, I swear that I'd be telling my son this so he won't make some of the mistakes that I made in my lifetime, trying to cut down the time it took to learn this in half. And we were applauding him for that. And he said, because my friend said, unfortunately, a lot of kids don't value dad's advice until they bump their heads. And he said, and that's the issue. Not understanding the advice from women won't work for him because he doesn't have the reality. And honestly, the advice is leading him to be abused by the little monsters of the world. So this is a young son that he has. This isn't a grown folk. But he's getting to the age where he's aware of girls and women trying to make his way. And he hears pops giving him good game, good advice. But everything else is leading him astray. And so he's having a difficulty where he's like, yeah, I know dad loves me. I hear what he's saying. But everybody else is saying something different. So how can all those people be wrong? And I told him, I said, there's all kind of industries that's built out there on the backs of men being suckers. There's a great industry put together that benefits from us being ill-informed. And he said, it's true. I keep, my biggest issue is that he doesn't value himself enough. I sent him statistics of where the average man is at for his age, showing him that he's doing better than most. I'm telling him that if a woman isn't treating you like this, then you have the wrong woman. But he's saying how difficult it is for him to get that. So we see how for decades it's always been about attacking the image or removing the image of manhood. They don't even want, even if you have a buffoon. I love Pops, but let's be real. Pops and the Wayans brothers was a bit of a buffoon. But even still, we don't want any gems to accidentally come forth from that. We don't want to take the risk.
Mm-hmm.
And so they remove the image altogether, so you can't even get an idea of what the right way or the wrong way is to be in those situations. And so I put the brother onto our platform. I gave him some others. I put him onto Dr. T.S. Johnson, put him onto some Erica Lachey, put him onto Affirmations for Black Men, saying, you know what, give him these places, because unfortunately, it doesn't matter how good of a job you're doing. You may be his father, and that's a big influence in life, but you're just one person. He needs to get the echo chamber going around him where other people besides dad are pouring into him. Because if it's between just you and the environment, it may take longer, but the environment's going to win out. So that's one of the reasons why this platform is important. That's one of the reasons why I was more than happy to hitch my wagon to you guys and say, recognize that this is a need, because there's a lot of stories like this out there.
Yeah.
Where young men are coming up and they don't know their ass from the elbow. Not to be funny, but they really don't know. They don't have enough guidance, and everywhere they look around, everything is set to lead them astray to their own detriment. So it's important that we recognize the significance of this, and shout out to those people. The work is great. There's very few people out here doing it. So the people that's rolled up their sleeves and said, let's get to work, the handful of us, kudos, let's keep it going. The need is real. And we're not going to stop until we have ourselves redefined and evolved what manhood and masculinity is, so we can guarantee that the future, in the best way possible, is masculine. And we have leaders. We have strong communities, strong families. We have that righteous wall to stand against the foolishness, the nonsense out here, so we can have the society that we need again, because it starts with us.
Exactly. And that, I love the fact that you're talking about the parent can only do but so much. There was a young lady on my page, on my Facebook page, and she's accomplishing so many things. She graduated, everything like that. But she has a young son that is just right now reckless. And I understand, and it kind of hit me hard, because I actually was that same young man. And the reason why I say that is because I went to go live with my dad when I was 15. I was very smart, but because my mother was divorced from my father, and at that time she had a bad relationship with my stepfather, who she was married to, it kind of made me move outside of the element of that household, and was really being friends with individuals from the school that was really a menace, right? And they were cool as hell, but they were menace. And that kind of excitement was kind of cool for me at that time, but it was leading me down a path that I might not have came away from. And then my dad was like, listen, just send my son up to live with me. And I think that was the best move that was made for me at that time. It's very important for especially young boys to be around their father. You know what I'm saying? My mother was never wanting me to go live with my dad, because I think a lot of times women have, I talk about this all the time, about women have a pride. There is a pride. There's an ego to women when it comes to their womanhood. They feel like the minute that they let their children go to their father, they failed as a mother. And I've known so many women right now with that same mindset that are putting their children in real shaky situations, because the father is open for that child to, be accepted, and that mother just is not letting go without a fight. But it's very important for young men to be around their fathers, and fellas, if you have children out there, fight for them. Go get those young men if you have them. Even the young women, these young women need you, because a lot of these young women they don't understand what a real man is. So if they don't have that example, the consciousness of it, then they're going to entertain weak, low energy men that may end up costing them their lives, right? And we're seeing a lot of that lately. These women are attaching themselves to these low energy men that have been love bombing them and filling them with false prophets, and then turn around and end up doing domestic suicide. Not only killing that person, their girl, but also killing themselves. We don't want people to get to that level. So we want you guys to align with the right people so you can live life in harmony, harmony and in a healthy, positive way. Let me tell you something. As much as these people out here tell y'all that relationships, good relationships and marriages, and they'll sit here and give you all the crap about how you can't trust that person. Oh, it's all going to go to shits and shambles at the end of the day. Let me tell you something. Man, when you're in a great relationship and you're in a great marriage, man, it is the best fucking feeling in the fucking world. Whether you're a man or a woman, you're aligned and comforted with somebody that understands you, that is there for you when you need them, that got your back 24/7. Ain't nothing like that. So don't let nobody out here tell you nothing outside of that bullshit. Because at the end of the day, you could be single as a man and you could slaughter all the women you want. But there's times when you come home and you wish you had somebody to talk to while you're watching TV. You wish you had somebody you could laugh and giggle with and do little play fights with in the bedroom or on the sofa. You wish that you had somebody that you could come home to and say, man, these motherfuckers out there is fucked up. And your girl or your guy is like, yeah, them motherfuckers is fucked up. It's so funny because when I talk to my peoples all the time, even like they'll tell me that they have issues at work. And I'll be like, shit, motherfucker, I got an issue with them at work too. It is the most funniest shit ever. I don't know if you guys engage like that with your significant other or any relationships you have, but when your woman talks about some fucked up people at work, her enemies is your enemies. That shit is the most funniest shit ever. But I mean, it's a great way to live life. It's a great way for you to understand that you have at least one person out there that loves you back just as much as you love them outside of your parents, because your parents are more likely are going to transition before your mate does. And to know that even when your parents transition, that you have somebody there holding you down in one of your darkest moments because of the relationship that you have with your parent, that's a hard hit to take, a hard pill to swallow. You have some women right now that lost their father or their mother, and they have not been the same since, but they had a mate that made the journey a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Got to understand the importance of it, man. And I'm telling you, man, it is, don't let nobody deter you from finding that happiness and finding that partner. It's over 6 billion people in this world. You're going to find them if you put yourself in the right position and also get in that mirror and do as much work as you can do, the inner work, so you have less resistance and issues when you find that perfect person. Because the worst thing for you to do is to find that perfect person and your flaws end up destroying what could be something that is so magical. And I'll land my plane on that.
Yeah, all facts, all facts. Look, to go back to those two videos, I want to make sure I touch on those real quick. The brother who was talking about how he doesn't go out like you know, he doesn't go out, you know, with his guy friends that are married or whatever the case may be. And the other brother there who was saying, you know, as a person who's in an involvement, you know, he don't even want to put himself in a certain type of situation where he might even be tempted to do something sideways. That's powerful. That is power, brothers. That is how you keep yourself out of harm's way. That is how you lead. You know, you're not even putting yourself in a position. I'm the same way with my wife. You know, my wife has all the confidence in the world. She don't worry about me going out messing with other women and all that. But I go out of my way to not put myself in positions that are going to make her feel funny. You know, I always say this. One of the questions that Erica Lachey is talking about, I presume, when she talks about people asking these stupid ass questions on these podcasts, you know, is when the girls trip conversation comes up. And, people are like, oh, well, how do you feel if your girl goes on a girls trip with all her single friends and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, it don't take long, for a person with common sense to pretty much opt out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't marry a woman who was on that. It's just not smart. It's dumb as hell. Just think about it. You're in Jamaica, y'all hanging out, y'all partying, you're married. All your girlfriends are single. Y'all at the club somewhere, they out flirting and dancing on dicks and whatever they doing. And you just gonna be sitting in the corner of the club reading your Bible? Really? That's how that works? Even if you weren't doing nothing slick, why would you want to put that thought in your man's mind? You understand what I'm saying? Or vice versa for a man. Why would you want to put that thought in your woman's mind? Because they know what goes on these trips when it's a whole bunch of guys. Should have been a red flag when you want to take a trip and omit your lady. For me, but okay, fine. You go, blah, blah, blah. Y'all hanging out. Y'all doing what the fellas do for a week. You know what I'm saying? In Bermuda, whatever the case may be. Your wife is at home. All your guy friends are single, doing single man things. What you doing? And y'all all hanging out. Come on, bruh. I'm just saying, we have to be more logical, when we think about these type of things, because for me, to a decent woman, it doesn't even occur to take that type of trip.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even occur to me to go on that type of trip. You dig? Not that I would necessarily be planning to do anything, but I don't want to put my wife in that mental space. You understand? So, I think that's a very powerful thing. Just keeping yourself out of situations that look funny style.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world. And people who have that type of mindset, that type of thinking, are also having 50-year anniversaries. You dig? So you might want to take some notes. Omari Hardwick with the Washington vid. That was special. That was special, bro, because you said it. When you have access to people who are conscious on the level of the Washingtons, and they extend an olive branch to you and they bring you in, you're going to leave with more than just rent and car note payments. You dig? It's nice that, they were able to help him financially and so forth and so on. But you can just tell, even when he speaks of them and he talks about his experience with them, they instilled so many things in him, that just make him move differently. Omari Hardwick is a very different type of dude. A lot of people say he's weird or whatever the case may be. I don't think that he's necessarily weird. I think that he really is a deep thinker. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not you agree with some of the things he says, that's on you. But I think he's really a deep thinker. And I think, the type of love that he was shown from the Washingtons and from other people, his current wife, the type of love that he was shown and the type of support, whereas people believed in him when he had nothing. And they were so cognizant of what he would become or what, he had the ability to become. You dig? I'm just saying. Well, we got some incomings in the comments. Has nothing to do with insecurity, but it's about respect for self and spouse. Okay, Mila Renee's spitting facts as she always does. What's going on, Mila Renee? She said her sister doesn't go for that. Okay, peace, bro. Shout out to brother Amun from Anubis Gun Club. He in the building. We live. You know what I'm saying? So I'll land with that. We got family in the building. So yeah. Clap it up. What's up? Yeah, man.
Definitely.
So, I'll park the Buick. What you got?
Bet. That's exactly what it's supposed to be about. And again, talking about village and community and being conscious. It's amazing that, and we just the degrees of separation. Because again, Omari wasn't a dude that was already in Hollywood. Man's a regular ass coach and teacher who just so happened to, out the blue, have I'll say.
You already went. Go ahead, Bobby. Finish.
Well, to follow up with the folks, I didn't touch on that, but
Go ahead, Bob.
got lost in the sauce.
It's all good. Go ahead.
But yeah, just his simple actions of just showing kindness, and he didn't go into depth. I'm sure John would be able to say a lot more about what went into him, really gravitating to Omari like that.
Mm-hmm.
But just being someone that this child could really glom onto, really just relate to, and have that kind of rapport with, was enough where his parents knew about him. His parents understood that they have a good relationship. This person that we don't know is looking out for our son, is impacting him in a positive way. And then to the point where he fell in hard times, and the parents said, well, you know what? He was kind to our child, and he didn't have to be. We're going to pay that forward. That's powerful. That's what's supposed to happen when you rise to the levels of prominence like the Washingtons. And I'm going to throw a shot right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw a shot. I feel a little combative this weekend. It's an inside joke. But that outcome right there was supposed to be the same outcome that you had when August Alsina went to the Smiths.
There you go. Yeah.
Nothing crazy or inappropriate. That's Jaden knew his friend was having difficulties. He knew the reputation of his parents for helping others and inspiring others. He thought he was looking out for his friend, bringing him back to meet his family, only for him to be further preyed on and to walk away with more issues and more drama than he came there with.
Yeah.
And furthermore, that also happened to be a major issue that adversely affected his father and really the family as a whole. Talking about why some people don't respect consciousness and what have you. That's an example right there. What the Washingtons did, that's what it's supposed to look like. Nothing predatory, nothing where I'm trying to take advantage or get what I can from you when you're down, when you're on the low. Nah. We're looking to be good to you. We have your highest good in mind. We're looking to serve you, to be a benefit and a blessing to you. As opposed to taking advantage of a brother struggling with mental issues and having all kind of family trauma and crisis and physical ailments as well, not just mental. And now we're going to go ahead and try to seek to use him and abuse him.
Come on.
So, sorry about it. I couldn't just let that slide. I had to tip my hat to the Washingtons. They're everything that we thus far have expected of them and heard of them to be. We appreciate the amazing legacy that they've given us so far. And however much longer life God bless them with, we hope that they'll continue to have more stories like this come out of the woodwork. Because I suspect that Omari isn't the only person who's been blessed by them. Maybe not to that degree, but in some way, shape, or fashion. I'm hoping that as the years go on, some random event will just kick that bucket over. We'll get to see how wonderful they have been to others like that. So
exactly.
Unless something in my car, so I'm gonna lock the door back so I don't go back again.
Yes. So the reason why we brought up I brought up consciousness and the fellas and showing that how powerful it is for you to be a conscious man and how it raises the community and it's very infectious and also give a lot of consciousness to other men to be more conscious, and paying it forward in that mind frame, right? Now the other side, when you're not a conscious man, what happens is you're giving low energy women the right to make themselves feel like they are dominant and they have no accountability for their actions, which means that you are now providing them the battery in their the backpack in order for you to look or degrade you as a simp. And a lot of you guys are doing that. You guys are playing and entertaining these low energy women. And the more you entertain these low energy women, the more their ego and arrogance grows, right? And they're not going to learn from it. They're not going to be better women. They're just going to think, I need to go get other guys that are low energy like that, and I can feed off of that and get what I need off of that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times you have these guys that's out here that are entertaining these women, and you are setting a bad example for somebody that's watching you, watch how these women are treating you. And when you do that, you can have a young boy, a young man that feels like this is what you have to be subjected to in order to go out and be with women that kind of look like this. And that's the wrong message that you're sending. You got to make sure that when you are stepping out, you not only represent yourself, but you also represent your family. And if you are a person that is in a relationship or you're married, when you step out, you represent not only yourself, but your mate, whether it's your girlfriend or your wife. So the way you conduct yourself is a representation of either your family or your mate. So make sure that when you're stepping outside that house, that you're representing those individuals the correct way. All right. So I want to show this video of how this low energy guy is being treated, and he should never be treated like this. And to know that you've been dealing with this for 4 years, I'm not going to rag on the women as much as I need to rag on you, because you are the source that's feeding these women. These women are going to be who they are. And of course, we're going to hold them accountable, but you need to be held more accountable, because like we told you, and I know I said this before, there's women in your phone that should never had your number in the first place. Always remember that.
These ladies are mad because the guy refused to pay for her friend meal. Who wrong? Now you keep it real.
A weird ass nigga. Like, I swear to God, like, this why I don't like going out with your ass. It's always fucking fun because you be on that weird ass shit. You only bring somebody with you. So, nigga, I don't trust you. I don't give a fuck. We've been talking for 4 years and your ass is still weird as fuck. This why I'm never gonna work about my motherfucking self with your ass. I swear to God, I don't got time for you. I pay for your food, I'm not gonna pay for her food. You gonna pay for her food, you gonna pay for whatever the fuck I order. You gonna pay for what I order.
This is embarrassing, honey. We done already ate and everything. Like, I can pay for my own fucking food, but this is ridiculous. Like, you don't invite somebody and not pay for their tab.
Like, the audacity of you.
This is why you don't date bald-headed ass niggas. Cause this is like, this is real mid.
I'm ready to go. That's why I don't like being around your ass. You always got so much going on.
I told you quit fucking with his bald-headed ass. I told you.
You know, and it's just sad to even watch this stuff. It's just real sad. You know, the guy actually invited the girl out, and he's been inviting her out for 4 years. I don't know why. You know, like I say, probably low energy, more than likely low energy. But he's invited you out, and he's taking care of your tab, which he felt is his courtesy of inviting you out to take care of your tab. But then you invite your homegirl out and automatically put her on your tab as well. And what I don't like is the girl is in the video talking about, I can pay for my own food, but how you invite us out and then you don't pay. No. He invited her out. She invited you out. So to be honest, she is responsible for your tab, not him. And I think a lot of times we see this scenario play out so much, and it's just heartbreaking, because dog, you should not, as a man, subject yourself to that type of energy and behavior. You guys got to take real serious pride in being with a woman that values you, that will show reciprocation, that will not put you in a situation like that. And then to slap your hat off your head, to disrespect because she know that her homegirl recording and they laughing and giggling. You know, it's really sad. But fellas, the reason why I'm getting at y'all more is because these are the women you should not even entertain. This should not be a woman that should have been in his phone in the first place. Because no matter if you say he don't look good or not, I guarantee you, there's a woman out there that would be with him that y'all would stick back and think that he would be paying her money to be out with. Because sometimes it's all about the character of your heart that can attract the right person to you. And if he's doing what he needs to do, then I can see him getting women that's way times better than them, way more classier than them, and way more respectable than them. Fellas, stand on your square, man. Stop subjugating yourself to this silly ass treatment and fucked up behavior that you're accepting. That shit got to go. 2025 coming, don't even bring it with you to 2025. Leave that shit in 2024. And I land my plane on that.
All facts. My God. I mean, these hood rat Bearillas are sitting up there, got the nerve to be talking down on somebody. You can't be serious. These damn refrigerator-shaped hood rat Bearillas got the nerve to be talking down on somebody?
Yeah.
One of them looked like Shannon Sharp with a lace front. You dig? The one who was talking the most shit, the girlfriend. Dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I say this all the time.
That's skill. No, don't say that. Skill.
Look, the shit that niggas bring out the house, boy. God damn. Yo.
Hey, Major, before you start cooking, what was the last thing that gentleman said when I played the video? What was the last thing he said conscious men would do when they run across women like that?
They immediately get the hell out of Dodge.
Exactly.
You walk away from that as, dude, I mean, she wouldn't have made it past the first phone conversation.
Exactly.
Nah.
She has no decorum. I'm surprised she didn't eat her meal with her hands. Look at this.
Hey, catch her on the right day. Who knows?
I'm just saying, and I'm not talking about pizza. I'm talking about pasta with her hands. This damn Cro-Magnon ass troglodyte stank toe. Come on, bruh. You gotta, brothers, y'all gotta do better than that. You have to have some pride in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have some pride in yourself, and you gotta know your worth. I know women have worn this phrase out, but there is validity to it. When they see you out here slumming and dealing with some low-life, slovenly cretin like what's in that video, you understand what I'm saying? That's the first thing that pops in my head. You got to know your worth, because at the end of the day, if someone can't show you respect in simple conversation, you shouldn't piss on this bitch if she's on fire. Why are you on a date with her?
Correct.
What are you doing? Nah, bruh. You know, that guy has serious self-esteem issues. But the behavior was just despicable. You're making fun of this man. You got your friend making fun of him. Your friend is insulting him. Y'all got him on video. Y'all will put him up on the internet. You know, you taking shots at his hair or whatever the case may be. This, that, and the third.
And then the physical assault. Don't let that slide.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying. You're smacking at him. Yeah, you're smacking at him. All this type of stuff. None of that is cute. None of that is cute. None of that is funny. And real talk, ladies, you do that to the right one, you get your motherfucking teeth knocked out. I'm not saying that I condone it, but you taking them type of chances. You dig? And that's just not the play. That's just not the play, man. Like, at the end of the day, we really, really got to be careful with how we speak to each other. And I'm so glad the title today is Dating While Conscious, because that is the antithesis of dating while conscious. What is the opposite of conscious? Hood monkeys like you have in that video. That's what the opposite of conscious is. And it's like, bruh, we got to start doing way, way better. I had a homeboy of mine back in the day. He asked me to introduce him to some girls in the club, and I did what I always do. I went up to like some very beautiful young ladies, and I just started a conversation. I turned around to introduce him. He wasn't there because he ran off to another part of the club, and I came to talk to him later. I'm like, what happened? I was ready to introduce you. Man, if you see them girls, they was fine. Yes, nigga, that's the point. You dig? I'm trying to elevate you Elevate your game. Don't feel like she's above you talking to her because she's very beautiful. She's a person just like you.
Yeah.
Go over there and spit to her. You know, you'd be surprised how many very beautiful women with minimal flaws are available out here because coward ass niggas are too scared to go talk to them.
Yeah.
These are the facts.
And
I've heard this.
I will add this onto that.
Yeah.
They call me Rajo Rondo. All my boys call me Rondo.
Okay.
And the reason they call me Rondo is because my assist game was sick.
Nice.
I was sick in the game with it, right? So they
I
like,
see
yeah,
you. I see
Rondo.
you.
They like, Rondo, hook me up, man. I was like, who? I'll go over there and I'll talk to the man. Listen, I had heart, bro. It didn't matter how fine she was. I was in her chest heavy.
Yes.
And I'm a smooth spitter, man. If anybody know me from my club days, know that my talk game is off the chain. Oh, you know how many times that the guys, dog, I'm talking about guys that were muscular, look built way better than me, right?
Yeah.
Niggas scared to talk to the women. Here I am, slim dude coming in there dressed nice, come up to them, just talking to them. And then the girl grabbed me. The girls always grab me and they say, I don't want to talk to them. I want to talk to you. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. No. I don't want to talk to no dude. This is what they say. I don't want to talk to no dude who don't have the guts to come up and talk to me.
Come on. In my DMX voice. Come on. Dog.
I'll land my plane on that.
What?
Hey.
You dig? Because and that's real. I've had that happen the same. Me and you must have been the same dude. I would have had to loan you. I'd have had to loan you my blessing stick so you could beat them off you back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like that. Like, because just the fact, even my wife will tell you one of the things she likes so much about me is that I was bold.
Yeah.
I just came up to her and just started talking to her. Hey, what's up? Da 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 da. This what it is. This what it's gonna be. What's up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, there's a certain confidence that comes with that. You have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that starts with presentation. Like, I was at Iguanas. Nobody really dresses to go to Iguanas or used to dress to go to Iguanas back in the days, especially on Tuesdays. It was Touch the Mic Tuesdays, very laid back. I had on my silk shirt. I had on my, my valleys, whatever the case may be, looking posh. You dig? Like just
looking spiffy. Spiffy.
Look what I do. Looking spiffy. You dig? And I felt like I could go up and talk to her like that because I knew I was fly as hell. What is there not to know? Okay, so when you got it like that, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Moons. Mila saying same with her husband. He just stated what it was. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Don't let these goddamn feminists and these bitch ass liberals tell you not to be a man. You go out there and you lay down the law of the land. Now, you don't want to be overly aggressive and threatening, but you want to be firm. What did the man say on the video? You want to be able to express needs kindly yet firmly. That is a skill that y'all need to really, really hone in on, because half of the action of getting cooperation from women is you being sure of yourself.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the ill shit right there. That's the secret sauce. Being sure of yourself. And never mind her buying what you're selling. Are you buying what you're selling? She can smell it on you. She can smell it on you. And if you bitch made, she can smell that on you too. So it takes a lot of internal work to get there. But if you got it, put it out there, man. And let's stop being afraid of our own shadow as men. It's no need in us being men if we're going to be the shy, meek motherfuckers in the room.
Yeah.
That's our part to do.
Definitely. I'm telling you, fellas, it's
that you getting some work today, boy. Let me tell you something.
Yeah. The number one key to everything is you have to have the confidence and know your worth. When I mentor young adults and young children, I make sure that I am putting in and showing them their worth. I'm telling them man, I'm researching facts and stuff. I even went to his house, and I went there and I showed them. I Googled up how much body parts are worth. I'm like, your heart is worth this. Your heart. I said, by the time you calculate everything, your body is worth $1 million. Now, don't go out there and try to kill your homeboy and think you're gonna get $1 million. You're not in the black market for you to get that money.
Right.
But when I tell you, I showed them that, and they never had nobody show them that, and telling them that they're worth $1 million and act like it, stand on it. Man, I had 3 of them that dropped out of being gangs. They were Crips. 3 of them was Crips. They weren't gangs after we left there. They dropped out of there. They started to when I talked to their supervisor, like the people that was in charge over them at his house, their counselors and stuff. Yeah. I was talking to them and they was like, man, I don't know what you did, but man, you changed their lives around and now they're on a great track and we thank you so much for that. It was a fight because what happens is a lot of those counselors, you know, they're paid to go there and day in, day out to supervise these children. But we were trying to be outside help to assist them. And a lot of times we were getting them to go on field trips to go different places. And the counselors didn't want to take them there because they felt like if they took them there and they came back, it would be cutting into their time. So we was really butting heads with them. So we had to put in the extra work, man, the overtime work to really instill in them mentally how to change their mindset. And man, by us being over there for 6 months, man, we did phenomenal work. When one of them aged out and contacted me personally and wanted to be under my wing, and she's been under my wing for 4 years now. But I put her underneath a female counselor that I also work with that also is in the same field that she's going in. So it worked out real good for her to be her direct female mentor. And then she transfers anything that they need help from me on that side to assist that young lady. Then I go ahead and I do what I need to do with the resources or whatever. But it just shows you that you got to instill the positiveness of the self-assurance and letting them have that confidence. Because once they build that up, you are a totally different person. If a person that walks in confidence, and a person that don't walk in confidence is 2 different people. Don't care how you look at the mentality or whatever the case may be, everything the same. It's different once you have confidence and you don't have confidence. You achieve so much more in life, whether it's in your love life, all the way to your financial status and your job placements. You go so much further when you have confidence versus when you don't. Because a lot of times when you have confidence, you're able to say, just like Amon stated, state your intentions and stand on your intentions politely, but stand on it. And the reason he's saying that is that once you know this is what it is, whatever you're talking to, whether you're talking to a woman or you're talking to your job, you're letting them know, like, this is what it is. This is what I'm capable of doing. You know, is this something that you guys are looking forward to? If not, and guess what? When your job, especially when your job hear that, they ready to lock you down. Hey, what is your offer? We're willing to give you whatever you want to stay here. When you're a person that come in there with no confidence, you're like, oh, well, I'll be there. They'll be like, all right, well, we'll give you a call back later. And they never call your ass back. One thing I know also, and I'm going to land my plane on, I land my plane on this, even when it comes to races, when you're a confident Black person and you're dealing with a racist, they even respect you more than being a buck down Sambo that don't know their worth. Let me tell you something. I be in their face and let them know how unapologetic I am. And guess what? They be wanting to do business with me. They respect me. They don't have no issues with me. It's the people that kiss ass. That's the ones they fuck with all the time. The ones that they make their lives miserable. And I'm giving you game. I'm telling you, I'm giving you game that has worked for me for over years. I'm telling you what it is, and I land my plane on that.
Oh, that's all the facts right there.
That's it. That's it. It's on you again. What's next?
All right, so we definitely gonna get up out of here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to our crown check for the night.
Yes, sir.
And our crown check for the night is a super dope woman. And I don't know if you guys would know who this woman is. Nah, I'm lying. Y'all wouldn't know who this woman is. But the reason why I wanted to give her a crown check tonight, because she's doing something that is so phenomenal. And even though they've been in her career, there's other people that have been in the career before her, she was able to accomplish something that all the women before her didn't achieve. And she's able to achieve it this season. And she's on the road, on the pace to hitting it. And that young woman is Aja Wilson. Shout out to Aja Wilson. Is 29 points away from the first 1,000-point season in WNBA history. She is 12 rebounds away from breaking the record of the most rebounds in a season. Wow. She's 4 blocks away from becoming the third player in NBA history with 100 blocks in a season. Aja has been doing some phenomenal things, regardless of the Angela Reese and the Caitlin bickery that's going on. This woman is out here saying, listen, I see both of y'all on both sides, but I'm out here to wreck shop. I'm going to continue to wreck shop. I just came back and brought y'all back a gold medal from the women's Olympic basketball team. I'm out here. I done, got the game-winning shot off playing with Angela Reese and possibly on my way to win the championship again. So shout out to this woman for doing a phenomenal job, even under the radar of all the noise going on with Caitlin and Angela Reese. And this woman is breaking records and nobody's speaking out on it. And guess what? We're here to show you the much needed love, our sister, our queen, and keep rocking on and doing what you do. Stand on business like usual. Shout out to Aja Wilson for that.
Yay.
That's our queen check for the night.
Hey, man.
Now listen on y'all.
Enough said, brother. Yo, shout out to the crown check. Phenomenal sister. Beast of an athlete. I love to see it. We get a few more of those, I'll start watching WNBA basketball, man. Like, you dig? Because let's be clear. The reason that a lot of men, and let's be clear on that too, most of the audience for WNBA basketball is actually men. You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear on that too. But the reason why a lot of men don't watch it is just because, unfortunately, until very recently, from what I've seen when I watch it, the women are not particularly competitive. They're not particularly dynamic in terms of, their athleticism. A lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? But once we get a few more Aja Wilsons and Caitlin Clarks and Angel Reese's and some of the other sisters, they just be out there getting it. They just be getting it. Like, yo, I will watch that. Mm-hmm. It kills me when people want to run out here and try to play the gender card or whatever the case may be when we're talking about WNBA games and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with that. And if you really want to go there and talk about gender, well, the WNBA has operated at a loss ever since the league started. They've never turned a profit. They only exist because they're subsidized by the NBA.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Most of the fans are men. That's a fact. You understand what I'm saying? And, at the end of the day, men love sports. If you have more of those athletes focusing on the game instead of some of them that are out here doing OnlyFans and other bullshit like that, then, we'd have better athletes and more people would watch. Yeah. It would grow their viewership exponentially. And I'm looking forward to them doing that. And I'm looking forward to a lot of these very powerful sisters like Aja Wilson assisting in that. So shout out to that sister. Respect to her. And yeah, we gonna keep on watching the legacies form, right? Yeah. In closing today, dating while conscious. The reason I chose that topic is because I had this problem. It was kind of job one for me. When I'm dating someone, for them to have their head on straight, all these birds that you see running around talking stupid like those two imbeciles in that last video. I can't be bothered with that. You know what I'm saying? I was very, very direct. You know how direct I am. You know, I'm very direct. I'm very upfront. I lay my cards on the table. I'm very firm. And that became a lot for women to handle. Ooh, I don't like him. You know, he too stuck up. That's what they used to call. They used to call me uppity and stuck up or whatever. No, I just have standards.
Yeah.
And if you ain't meet the standard, your ass was getting cut. You dig? And that's how it's supposed to be. Gentlemen, don't let anybody tell you that you can't have standards. What you want is what you want. You can be as picky as you like. You dig? Because you got to wake up next to this motherfucker for the next 30, 40 years. You dig? You and you alone. Don't let nobody tell you what you have to do. And you know, oh, but you can't talk. You can't say that you won't talk to that kind of girl. That you hate the women's. Shut the fuck up. No, that's not what it is. You know what I'm saying? I know what's best for me, and only I know. And you really have to take yourself seriously. You have to value yourself, and you have to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, if you don't meet these standards, you cool and everything, but we can't rock. I had a litany of shit because, you know, people used to try to hook me up like, you're a nice guy, you make good money, you know, you're articulate, intelligent. Let me hook you up with some, you know, be heard. Nope, can't do it. She got 10 pounds of weave in her head, 10 pounds of makeup, and 10-inch eyelashes. No. You know, and I'll tell them at the door, no, I don't even want to meet her. I don't even want to have a conversation with her. Beautiful sister, if you take off the costume, nice figure, but I did not want that. And that's okay. People will tell you women can have the most ridiculous damn standards, and people will say it's okay. But as soon as a man says, no, I want a woman who's fit and natural and, you know, has, you know, self-respect and values or whatever the case may be, and is not a liability. Oh, that's a problem. No. Brothers, you got to look out for yourselves, because one of the worst things that you can do is end up with the wrong woman. And same thing with the ladies. One of the worst things you can do is end up with the wrong man. In particular for the ladies, if you're dating a dude who is not conscious, you have to think of what is the opposite of conscious. You're unconscious. You're asleep. And as a man, you're supposed to be leading. What do you look like following someone who is asleep? Just think about that for a minute. Let's tighten this up. Let's bring consciousness back into the fold as far as our vetting process when we're dating. Let's date someone conscious. They don't have to be out loud with it like Rizza Islam and Umar Johnson, whatever the case may be. They can be laid back with it. They can be subtle. They ain't got to be on the internet, you know, and saying keep hope alive and all that old shit. They ain't got to be doing that. But we should have a standard that just, at least in the relationship capacity, this person has a certain level of consciousness and awareness of, you know, the situational impact of what they're doing is having on your feelings and your life. You know what I'm saying? You should be in unity and working together. That's what we need to be working towards. The guy who spoke in the video, he wasn't no Pan-Africanist. He was a Hispanic dude. But he was speaking about consciousness in relationships. It's a thing. You know what I'm saying? So let's get together with that and get all the bullshit out of these relationships, because it's not working.
Exactly. And remember that the reason why I put on the flyer of Malcolm X and Betty Shabazz. Betty Shabazz is a very conscious sister.
Yes.
She never heard Betty Shabazz on any platform or anything being outspoken. She was a conscious sister that was in her home. The way she ran her home, the education she had put behind her, and to deal with the assassination of her husband and having to make sure that she comfort her children. Only a conscious woman could be in that situation and handle it the way she handled it. If she was not conscious, that whole family would have just been downhill ever since.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And the consciousness ends up like I say, being infectious to the children because they grew up to be conscious just like their mother and father. Same thing with Fred Hampton's girlfriend. Same thing. I put her on the picture with Fred Hampton, and also with Claire Huxtable and Cliff. Right. So I put the Cosby Show on there because of the imagery of what that exude was two conscious parents who end up being together to help raise some real conscious and successful children. You know, that type of mind frame, just by Cliff and Claire alone, their presence on air has impacted so many people to be so great in real life. So many Black people and Black men and women have end up being great in life because of that imagery of those two. So it's very infectious to make sure that you are putting out that conscious mindset and showing that both consciousness from two people can really move mountains and be impactful for the community, their household, and their children. And I'll land my plane over to you, Bobby, and you take us out.
Absolutely. So yeah, very, very, very powerful night. Big ups to Sister Asia Wilson doing her damn thing. I love seeing stories like that throughout the whole season. And then, so like you said, man, the whole chat has been back and forth between Caitlin Clark and then Angel Reese, and then everyone else, you know, having issues with Caitlin and everything. Whole time, Asia said, "All right, y'all out here working your gums. Let me go ahead and work this jump shot one time."
Yeah.
And she just been put on her big girl pants, shoulders up, and got to work. And lo and behold, she let the work speak for itself. And, you know, Caitlin's been doing her thing. Unfortunately, Angel has been sidelined with the injury she's done for the season. But now we see, oh, wait a second, Asia been here holding it down all by herself, looking like the blueprint out here. So big ups to the sister, proud of her. Keep working hard, keep doing your thing, and no matter what, the work gonna speak for itself. You don't got to say too much. You can if you want to, that's your right, but you don't got to say too much. The work gonna speak for itself, man. Just trust the process and commit yourself to the grind. I tell people every day when you wake up, say, I pledge allegiance to the grind. We'll go ahead and get after it. And I'm going to apply myself with all my strength, with all my might, and I'm going to make something shake one way or another, goddammit. Dating while conscious, huge thing to look forward to. And, you know, I've said this before when it comes to talking about submission, what have you. But when you think about the attributes of a person who's conscious, I said this mainly to the women. I framed it this way. I said, even if submission isn't your thing, you say you're not going to submit to a man no matter what. When you look at the qualifications of a man who's worth submitting to, why would you have issues with that? Why would you have issue with the qualities of a man who is worthy of submission? And if you do have that, and if you just, by your own standards, acknowledge that, yeah, he's worthy of submission, why would you withhold that? Why would you not go ahead and get with the program? Or why would you be selfish and take up a space for somebody else who would? You got to think about these things. When you're saying that you're against something, okay, cool. But then you have to ask yourself, well, what is the opposite of this? And am I for that? You got to make sure that you're not busy shooting yourself in the foot. You're out here knocking toes and digits off and setting yourself back. Like you said, if they're not conscious, then what are they? Why do you want to deal with that? You have to question yourself, and it's deeper than that. I know that we have some bad actors, some horrible representatives, and mainly frauds and charlatans out here who are misrepresenting the brand. I get that. But if anything, I would say that should inspire you to go ahead and be the proper version of that. Correct. You know, it takes no effort to sit on the sidelines and watch with your popcorn. They do that all wrong. I hate when they do this. See, you know what it is. How about you EA Sports and get in the game? How about you get your Asia Wilson on, lace up your Jordans, toss your jersey, grab the ball, and you go to work and dunk on them and show them what it really is. You You know, we need more, not less.
Right.
And what happens is, if we have fewer people that are picking up the mantle and putting the work, then what it is you're allowing those people that have negative aims to come in and override it. And before long, the whole thing is shot to hell.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just seed ground to that. So, yeah, make sure that you're out here getting your mind right. Make sure that you're on the conscious wave yourself, really getting to understand what that is and how you can be of service to your people. And in turn, the people that you serve will also be able to serve you, and it becomes a bucket that keeps pouring back and forth in each other. No one is left without, because everyone is contributing and donating to the cause and the purpose. And we can rebuild these families, man. We can rebuild these people. We can start putting a nip in the bud of some of these horror stories we have out here. Excellent show tonight. Wonderful. Before I go into closing remarks, I do want to do a little bit of horn tooting. I don't do it too often. I'm going to do it tonight. Dug into my bag, and no, it's not quite a dookie chain, but I have some metal around my neck.
I saw that. I meant to ask you about that. Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah. So your boy went to war this weekend. When it's been a minute, it's been about a whole year of, I said at the top of the year that one of my objectives this year, one of my goals was I wanted to be active in competition this year. And for a number of reasons, some health related, didn't get to happen, wasn't nearly as busy as I wanted to be. But undaunted, I went ahead, and I might not be able to finish as strong as I wanted to, but God damn it, I said I'm still going to salvage what I can after the year. So after about a year of a layoff, I went back into the fires of the New Breed Jiu-Jitsu Federation, and it was tough. It was 2 challenging matches, but I am proud to say that Manversations 2020 is here rocking with the 2023 Coral Springs Tournament Superweight Champion.
Whoa.
So,
my boy, congrats, boy.
Very proud, very happy. It was only 2 matches, but I swear I felt so exhausted when all that was done. My nerves came in on Thursday, thank God. So by the time the event rolled around, I had it out of my system. But as much as I'm proud of this, I'm more proud of the work that went in. Because if I end up walking away with nothing, with the work that I've been putting, the consistency and everything, I still felt like a champion no matter what. All this does to me is serve as a benchmark of the work that I put into this, all the effort, the training, the roles, the practices with my teammates, my favorite sadist, my dictator tyrant of a coach, and all the crazy ass warm-ups and exercises he puts us through, but didn't go for naught. But one of the things that I really loved about this was not just the support that came out from my teammates, but I got to hear the people that I see on a regular basis just toss out their observations. And what really touched me the most is some of the young boys that I train with, that I give tips to. They stay afterwards. They put in extra work. I don't coach them per se, but I see holes in their game. I point some things out. I give some tips, whatever. And I was getting all kind of response from them saying, you deserve this. You put in so much work. Every time we see you, you're always so positive. You're always upbeat. You always have time for us. You deserve this. I appreciate it. That to me meant more than anything. Because if anything, this serves as, and some of them probably never compete. Most people don't. Maybe 2 or 3% of the population even train in martial arts or in jiu-jitsu. Maybe only percent of that actually compete. But the fact that I'm pouring into them, and this serves, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is someone who's a champion. He's pouring into us like that. It just means that the things that I say and the influence and the example that I try to set goes so much further. So I appreciate what this will allow me to do and the deeper reach that it'll allow me to make. And I'm proud of this, but tomorrow's Monday. I usually work out and train on Sundays. I still got knots in my back. I got all kind of tension, stress that I got built up from. So I just took it off. But Monday, go right back to work. Ain't nothing changed. And hopefully I can get one more in before the end of the year. And I'm walking out with another goal. So the big thing that was meant even more to me than this at the tournament was I actually notched my first win by submission That was amazing.
Right.
So I didn't win off points. I didn't win off an advantage. I notched my first win off submission. That was great. My the championship win was by an advantage. The other guy was a beast. I got an advantage off a takedown. He tried to return the favor. He didn't get one clean, so he didn't get an advantage. And so we spent the last 90, 100 seconds battling for position. I refused to let him get because he had me in a bad spot, but I refused with all my energy to let him get a single advantage on me, and I pulled out. This next one, I'm going to kill everything. I expect to get 2, 3, however many submissions, and going to end the year on a strong positive note. So we're still here. We're still working the goals. The grind don't stop.
Your submission was an armbar?
Wasn't an arm bar, so I got him in an Americana. So basically, I was able to get him in a position where his arm was like this above his head, and I put pressure, rotating it backwards on the shoulder joint. And I had him in that, and about 6, 7 seconds later, I just felt, let him up. I checked on him, made sure he was good. He's like, fuck, you got me. Like, hey, but you toughed it out, man. Good job. So he was healthy. We walked out. No one was injured. Everyone walked away with the limbs intact. We can all go to work on Monday or Tuesday, whenever, healthy. So those were the real wins, man. So I'm proud of that. So we exchanged information. I think he trains out of Fight Sports up in Deerfield. Shout out to Cyborg Abreu and his Fight Sports crew. Hopefully it's somebody I can go up there and train with them a little bit. They can come down to where I'm at. They can train where we are. And the community can build and grow.
All right. Well done. Well, congratulations again. It was a great night. It's a very powerful show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Take the link and send it to somebody. You know, you could change people's lives with this, because the consciousness, Dane Wild consciousness, is something that needs to be exuded more throughout our community and our people. All right. So tune in next week with another amazing show. And we'll see you again. All right, family? Be easy. Be safe.
We in here.
And we out. All right.
Yay. All right.
Peace. Oh, where is it? Oh, damn. Where did I go? Oh, okay.
Like, comments,
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best
A
interest.
place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manversation. Man up. Manversation. Man up. Manversation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manversation.
A place where we inform, build, and
Man up.
inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we
Man
must
up.
stand together and be counted because people look to us for guidance, leadership,
Man
and
up.
protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job.
Man up.
Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose.
Man up.
Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage.
Man up.
We are. This is Manversations 2020.
Manversation. Man up.